happy with that.
Just talk to us a little bit about your experience. Obviously, you were saying just a little bit there about your time here in Belfast.
Oh man, it's been wonderful, man. Ireland is beautiful, man. We went and did a little bit of scenic views. Man, it's beautiful here. Got nice rolling hills. Just the weather, man. It's a little bit cold for my taste. I'm from Houston, Texas, so man, it gets a lot colder here, man. I heard this ain't even y'all's like coldest that it gets. It's just y'all's fall weather, so couldn't even imagine come January and February for y'all. But it's been great, man. The people here are so nice, so welcoming, and just the history that y'all have in Belfast has been amazing to learn and learn a new culture and everything. It's been great, a great experience overall for sure.
And how have you managed to adjust to the times here?
I came out pretty early. I came out last Wednesday. I flew out, so been here a little bit over a week, about 9 or 10 days. So the first 3 or 4 days it was pretty hard. I was waking up at 4 or 5 in the afternoon, and then like the sun sets so like early here, like it sets at like 4:30. Like where I'm from, it sets like 7:30, 8. So not a lot of sunlight to deal with, and I was staying up to about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. So, but after those 4 or 5 days, man, really got to get used to it. Actually started getting some good sleep. So it ended up working out pretty well.
So you're happy to be here because I read something last week that obviously you're a big boxing fan. There's a big boxing card on tonight, and you were saying, look, I nearly didn't take the fight because I wanted to stay home and watch the fight. So happy to come here, get a massive win.
Oh, for sure. I'll be staying up late to try to catch that Kovalov and Wharf. But yeah, definitely glad to come out here and get the win, even though there was some things I might have been doing if I wasn't fighting. But definitely enjoy it. Anytime you can put money in your bank account, man, you're doing something good. So I enjoyed it.
2-0 now in the UFC. So talk a little bit about your win tonight.
Man, this kind of came out of nowhere for me. That's my first takedown I've ever. I don't even think I've done a takedown in jiu-jitsu or like wrestling class. I think that's my first takedown ever that I've actually tried, and it worked. And I don't even know why I did it. I was just kind of clenched against the cage, and I don't even know if I was in my right mind, but went for the takedown, and then was going to work my jiu-jitsu, and then he stood up, and then we kind of scrambled against the cage. I thought I was going to take his back against the cage, but then he went for a takedown, and he kind of flopped, messed it up, and I happened to get that rear naked in. Man, I was taken surprised by all of it. Really, it hasn't set in yet. It kind of blew my mind. I was hoping not to get another submission win, but I'll take a win however I can get it. I was hoping to come out here and display my boxing skills once again, but I guess that didn't happen. I guess you never know what's going to happen in a fight, even when you're fighting. So it's definitely crazy for me right now standing here.
Were you surprised by the choke? It seemed like he was defending at the start. You switched to a short hand grip. It seemed like maybe he'd give up after the hooks went in. Like he was fighting very hard up until a certain point, and then your choke just went on with ease.
I think because I think he knew it was as soon as I put the choke in, he kind of fought it right here, but the actual arm was still under his chin, and then I guess he kind of gave up on it. He knew the choke was kind of sunk in. That's what I got from it. And then I had, like you said, I had the overhead, and then I heard his corner pull his hand down, so I immediately switched to the pull right there. But I think the choke was pretty much in the whole time is how I felt it. That's why I kept going for it. So.
But he almost went out as well, because how he tapped was with the back of his hand. He didn't even tap you. He tapped the ground very kind of feebly. So he almost must have went out. Obviously must have been tight.
Oh yeah, it was definitely tight, and he's a very tough dude, man. He's fought some very tough people, so to come in here and get a win like that is very gratifying for myself. He's been in there with some big names, and was that the first time he had been submitted? I think that was the first time he had been submitted. Yeah. So and I knew I know in the Czech Congo fight, man, I saw Czech Congo took him down a couple times, and then he popped right back up. So I was like, so even coming into the fight, I was like, don't even try to take. Well, I mean, I don't ever think about taking somebody down in general, but I was like, dang, he has really good hips, he has really good takedown defense. Even though they do take him down, he pops right up. So coming into this fight, I didn't even dream of taking him down, much less submitting him. So, like I said, my mind is still blown by what transpired in there. So.
And your first fight could have been like fight of night because it was a war. Your very first fight. Now here you are getting a submission. You think you'll be looking for a bonus or?
Man, I don't know, man. There's been some really good fights tonight. The first fight of the night, that Rasak, I think his name was. I saw him fight in Legacy back in Dallas a couple months ago, and that knockout was pretty amazing. And then you got Cummings. He had a nice submission. So So it'd be tough, you know. I would definitely like that, but then you also got the main card coming, so you never know, man. With the stat card, like this was a really good card. I knew coming in it'd be hard to get the performance bonus, and especially like a lot of the fights are very even. Even like by the bookie standpoint, they were very even. So I mean, you never know. You hope and you pray, but you never know. You know what I mean?
And what's next for you? What would you like next?
Definitely UFC Houston. That's about the closest it gets to my hometown, Rocheron, Texas. I definitely like to fight there. It's funny because when I was fighting on the local shows, not many people really would come to my fights. But now since I've been in the UFC, everybody's like, oh man, when you fighting in Houston? When you fighting in Houston? Well, shit, you wasn't coming watching my fight when I was fighting in the local shows, you know. But that's neither here or there. And hopefully I can get on that Houston card and everybody can come out and see me and, you know, finally maybe start getting some of the recognition I think I deserve. So.
And any opponents in mind? Obviously 2-0 in the UFC. You know, who do you think you'd like to fight next?
Man, I don't know, man. We've really been messing around with the idea of maybe going down to 205. I mean, that's where I started my career off. But I mean, up at heavyweight, you know, I'm the faster, more stamina fighter. So I don't know, man. It'll be something to think about in the coming next week, see where my weight fluctuates, especially after this fight, and kind of go from there. Kind of let the thing is, at heavyweight, I've gotten 2 really good matchups. So if they keep matching me up with good matchups I like, then I'll keep kind of doing it. If I feel like, you know, they're trying to throw me to somebody that I'm not really feeling, then I can maybe go down to 205. Really I try to look at what's best for my career and you know, how can I prolong my career the longest, you know. As a fighter, this is a short window of your life, of your career, you know, and I'm trying to make as much money as I can while I still got, you know, enough brains to, you know, spell my name right now. So we'll see, man. Definitely talk about it with my management. I remember before my last fight in August, I told my management, I was like, hey, after this, I'm dominant and where I can extend my career the longest.
Obviously, a heavyweight, you don't have to cut weight. So, what do you walk around at now? And you know, the cut previously that you made to 205, was it a tough cut? You think you can do it again?
I think I can do it again. When I used to cut, but I was a lot younger. Like I turned pro when I was 20, so I was a lot younger when I was making the cut, but I wasn't cutting correctly. And then here lately, back in May and June, I kind of switched my diet up, and right before my August fight, I was walking around at 222, 225, and then like we're like, dude, you got to gain some weight, and so I started eating pizza and burgers and stuff like that, and I barely made it to 234. And then this training camp, I was like, well, fuck, I'll keep eating pizza and burgers, you know, and then I kind of got up to 240, so I was like, but you know, it's kind of one of those things. You always want to finish fights. And so there's a guy, you know, a lot bigger, kind of like my last fight, man, he took a lot of punishment, you know. When you got guys that are a lot bigger, bone structurally and just different things, man, it's definitely hard because I feel like I'm the smaller guy. You know, you see these guys that are bigger, you know, he, like, even though he weighed in a couple pounds lighter than me, he was still, like, muscled. You can tell me, I'm still kind of, like, soft around the midsection stuff. You can tell that, you know, my body fat percentage isn't where his is. So maybe if I did get my body fat percentage down like that, you know, maybe I would be a force to reckon with at 205.
Well, if Roy Nelson says he can make light heavy, I'm sure you'd have no problem making light heavy.
What'd you say?
I said if Roy Nelson says he can make light heavy, I'm sure you'll have no problem making light heavy.
Hey, whatever he's smoking, let me get some of that too. Let me get some of that too. Man, if you're cutting, man, nah, man. It's hard enough for me, like, cause once I get my weight down, like if I get on a healthy diet, you know, like I said, I'll be around 225, 230, and then like I'll start my cut from there. And even 25 pounds, when you're like me, I'm kind of lanky, and so I don't have much to cut as it is. You know, that's hard enough, much less for some guy that he used to cut to make 265. Like, come on. Like, now, does he need to be fighting at 205? That, you know, that's not for me to say because, you know, he's only, what is he, like 5'11", 6 foot? You know, so definitely body type wise, I'm pretty sure he can make it, but there's a lot more that goes into it, discipline, how your body reacts to it, your age, and different things like that. So definitely we'll have to see what goes on in his career.
Thank you.
All right, thank y'all so much.
Thanks a lot.
All right, thank you.